In an ever-changing world, there is a demand for a voice, which echoes the thoughts and yearnings of the common man. That voice comes with truth. It's a voice of justice, and ultimately, the voice upholds peace. The Voice is Building Bridges, your radio advocacy platform aimed at building trust and fostering peaceful coexistence among communities, ethnicities, and groups. Building Bridges comes up every Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. on J101.9 FM, an initiative of Take and Peace Desk with support by Bread for the World.
You're welcome back from that short break as we took a message from our sponsors. This is Building Bridges, a program brought to you by Take and Peace Desk with support from Bread for the World. And today we're talking about the impasse in the Plateau State House of Assembly with Barrister Sam Dido to give legal perspectives on the current happenings in the House. Barrister Sam.
Yeah.
We're glad to have you on the program.
I'm happy to be here too.
All right. So, what's your take on the current happening in the Plateau State House of Assembly?
Well, what's happening in the Plateau State House of Assembly is very shameful, embarrassing, and to say the least, a mockery on democracy. It is very unfortunate that at this age and time we are still living as if we are in the Stone Age, where we don't have rules. Even in local community gatherings, there are procedures and way and manner, they conduct themselves in order to either install a leader or impeach a leader. And then we are talking about a house that is supposed to be responsible for making laws, not abiding by the laws. So it is very, very unfortunate.
Interesting. So, when you have the house that makes laws that are not abided by the so-called laws, it's quite a problem.
It's a serious problem. It's a serious because they are setting a very bad precedent in the sense that if the common man would think if the people making laws for us are not abiding by the rules, are not working, are not running by the rules, then everybody can do whatever he wants and that goes. It's light. So it's very, very unfortunate to say the least.
Indeed. But what has happened has really happened in the house, and it has really led us to where we are today. So, but let's quickly look at the laws, as you mentioned earlier on. What are the constitutional provisions for impeaching a speaker, and what does the House rule say on issues as such?
This question is very important because to give us perspective, we need to know whether or not the Speaker of the House can be impeached. And if the answer is in the affirmative, how can he be impeached?
Interesting.
Now, the Constitution, particularly Section 92, subsection 2C, provides that a Speaker of the House of Assembly can be impeached. He can be impeached by at least two-third majority of the members of the House. Two-third majority.
Okay.
Now, we have a House of 24 members. Two-third majority in simple arithmetics is 16 of the 24 members. So anything short of that is a violation of the Constitution. Section 1 of the Constitution, subsection 3, provides for the supremacy of the Constitution, that the Constitution is supreme and above every law or person in Nigeria. And any law or person that goes contrary to the provisions of the Constitution shall, to the extent of the inconsistency, be null and void. So therefore, if there is any person or any law or any institution that goes contrary to the provisions of the Constitution, then that illegality can never stand. It is inconsistent to the provision of the Constitution.
Interesting. You are well aware of the issues. So,
yes.
If I may, all the issues as played out, do they actually agree with the constitutional provision you have spelled out?
Well, from what I have read and seen, they don't. Now, the Constitution also gives power to them to certain bodies to make rules. Now, the House of Assembly, for instance, has rules they are governed by. Now, talking about impeachment, the procedure for impeachment is contained in Order 14, Rule 1 of the House Rules.
Okay.
And that order outlines the procedure for the impeachment of the Speaker or Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly. Now, yesterday I had to ask for specific provisions from their rules, and it is interesting to know that the rule provides that the Speaker or the Deputy Speaker of the House may be removed from office in accordance with the provisions of this order when a notice of any allegation in writing signed by not less than 7 members of the House is presented to either the majority leader or the deputy majority leader.
Interesting.
Now, that's the first step. There has to be a written notice. Written notice signed by at least 7 members, given to either the majority leader or the deputy or the minority leader. Now, after that is done, the next thing to be done is that the House shall within 2 weeks, by simple majority of all members, resolve by motion without any debate whether or not the allegation shall be investigated. Now, after the notice, the House will decide whether to investigate the allegation against the Speaker or not. Now, after that, where the resolution of the House is that the allegation be investigated, an ad hoc committee comprising of members of all the political parties presented in the House shall be constituted to investigate the allegation. Now you can see, now these are the steps. Now the committee so constituted shall request the holder of the office under investigation to respond. Now that's where fair hearing comes into play. Now, and that's also in tandem with the provision of the Constitution, section 36 of the Constitution, which provides for fair hearing, because you cannot just allege a thing against a person and not substantiate it by allowing him to respond. You understand whether those allegations are true. So you can see this provision is in tandem with the provision of the Constitution. Now the committee, after allowing the Speaker to respond, the ad hoc committee also goes on. The Speaker, of course, writes his response, and then they will now go on to investigate. And if they are of the opinion that there's nothing substantial against the Speaker, it ends there.
Okay.
It ends there. However, if they see that there is something or there's a question for the Speaker to answer, then he comes to answer. Now, these are the procedures, and then that's where salient questions are to be asked. Was there a written notice to the minority leader or the majority leader?
At any point.
At any point. And that's where they need to come clear to the citizens of this state, so that we will know, did they write a notice? Was the notice given to either the majority or the minority leader? Was the House attention drawn to this notice? And what was the resolution of the House, whether or not to investigate the Speaker? And if the House agreed to investigate the Speaker, was a committee set up? Was an ad hoc committee set up based on their own rules? If the ad hoc committee was set up, did the ad hoc committee give the Speaker the opportunity to respond? Now, these are very fundamental questions that we need to, that are begging for answers. So we need the House, both the purportedly new Speaker or the Speaker known to the citizens, they need to respond to know, to us, to let's know whether these procedures were followed. Anything other than that is a nullity as far as the law is concerned.
Well, I was just coming to the law as well. You have given the provisions of the House rules pertaining to impeachment. It's procedural.
Yeah,
and you've actually outlined the procedures as the case may be. Now, what has happened? What is the legal interpretation to what has happened in the House?
Well, you see, when the law provides for how a thing should be done, and you go against that provision, the entire proceeding, no matter how well conducted, is a nullity.
Okay.
It's like saying a court lacks jurisdiction to handle a matter, and then the court goes ahead to handle the matter, very beautiful matter, very beautiful judgment. In the eyes of the law, no matter how well conducted that matter is, it is a nullity because it lacks jurisdiction. And that's applying it to this incident. You can safely say that the proceedings, if this procedure was not duly followed, is a nullity in the eyes of the law.
We're still coming back to the law, but again, the other faction had said, yes, we had 16 people sign the document. Can that still stand?
Can they publish the names of the 16 people?
Interesting.
Because you cannot just say you have videos, you have 16 people sign a document. What if, because it leaves a lot of room for speculation, what if this purported 16 signatures was in respect of a different transaction?
Interesting.
You understand? It leaves a whole lot of room for speculation. If they truly got or secured legitimately those signatures of the 16 people, then I think it shouldn't be a problem for them to publish them. So that the citizens will be aware of what their members have done.
I mean,
they will not be left in the dark.
For clarity, actually, earlier on you mentioned the procedures involved, and you outlined all the procedure, all the processes. Now, the rules actually, does it really specify that this must be made public?
Well, it doesn't, but it has now become a public issue.
Interesting.
Yes, and then the citizens are their employers, for the sake of God. So they owe it to the citizens to tell the citizens what has actually happened, because it has left the citizens despondent and like we don't have a house of assembly now.
Interesting.
You understand? So it is very, very, very unfortunate.
I mean, you said we don't have a house of assembly now. So, I mean, what's the implication for that on legislative matters and issues of governance on the plateau?
It has a very bad effect in the sense that, you see, the legislature serves as, apart from making laws, they also oversight on so many things. They also checkmate the other arms of government. Now, the executive, as far as this current situation is concerned, is on a free ride without any check. Because as far as we are concerned, and as far as most Plateau citizens are concerned, the executive is more like having the House of Assembly as puppets.
Okay.
So they want to manipulate and monopolize the House of Assembly, and that is not good for democracy.
I mean, if you say the executive want to manipulate or turn the legislative into a puppet, what do you mean by that?
Yes, of course, they want to get the legislature to assent or consent to whatever they do, whether it is right or wrong. And that's why you find few members of the House surreptitiously going to the House as early as 6 a.m. to conduct proceedings.
Interesting.
It is not done like that, even by their own rules. Order 6 of their rules provides that sittings commence, plenary is by 10.
Interesting.
Even though they can do other things by 9. But anything before 9, as far as we are concerned, they are on a frolic of their own.
Okay.
Yes, they are not representing the people. So it is because of that I said the executive is trying to impose people they can easily manipulate.
I mean, interesting. The conversation is getting interesting here in the studio. We will be opening our phone lines shortly. As a listener, you can be part of the conversation. You can also go to our Facebook page at Taken Peace Desk. The conversation is there. You can join it. You can give your comment on the current impasse in the Plateau State House of Assembly. We'll be opening our phone lines shortly. You can reach us on 090-55-666. That's 6 in 4 places and 99 or 090-988-48848. All right, those are our phone lines. You can reach us. You can be part of the conversation on our Facebook platform as well at Take and Peace Desk. We're here having the conversation with Barrister Sam Dido. He's been giving us legal perspectives into the current happenings in the Plateau State House of Assembly. All right, as we drive the conversation further, some have pointed to key figures in the executive to see, these are the problems behind this particular problem. Some have actually mentioned names and all. But, we have the legislature as an independent arm and we have the executive as an independent arm. We have a phone. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my friend. My presenter.
Good morning.
I'm Sir Lucky from Bukola. Good morning. Sir Lucky from Bukola, the voice of the masses.
We're glad to have you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, issue you're talking about, specifically on the event that took place in the House Assembly.
Yes, sir.
Most of us who are Democrats would describe that as completely abuse of power.
Okay.
We call it complete injustice to democracy. It's a complete coup. We call it a coup. How can a member or some group of people just come to House Assembly 6 o'clock? How does it start by 8 o'clock? That is one thing. How can 7 people decide or 8 people decide on behalf of 24 people? Is that acceptable? And if you are going to have a meeting, must you gather the whole security to that premises? You can see a lot of illegality in this city. See, I've been telling you in this country, when you start making injustice, sorry to use that word, it's injustice. Look at it. If you start using injustice as order of the day, then you accept injustice, you are going to accept a lot of problem in that side.
Okay.
There's no how you can accept illegality and people will not react.
Okay.
The most painful of it is that some youth who are suffering today under this atmosphere in the country were able to be bought off to support illegality. It is a shame that some people will come and collect money or go and be bought off. Tomorrow they will start feeling hungry. They will not support illegality. I want to ask the assembly, please, they should maintain the integrity of the teachers.
All right. Thank you very much, Sir Lucky. We're glad you called. That's quite a perspective. They're calling for justice. We also have a caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. I'm calling from Rancha.
Good morning,
Radio Mama. Good
Good
morning to the Barrister. That issue about the with all you said and all I've been following, it's no issue. If you're not running a banana republic, can't get the judicial solution. Let me go into what is more important. The hunger in the land. You see how the gas has gone up, kerosene has gone up, and soaring prices of wheat, and then people are resorting to using firewood now, which is going to even lead to a lot of problems because of the deforestation. And yet, our Mr. President is there telling them out there that he's going to have zero emission. How will he achieve that? Let me tell you something. A hungry man has no respect for law, authority, or humanity. And if that happens, then it means there will be no peace. You know that?
Absolutely.
One, you have to be at peace with yourself. And hunger will not allow you to be at peace because you need to cry and what have you. So let them do something and get us out of this mess. There's so much hunger in the land. We don't need all these crises right, left, and center. What goes around comes around. Some of them have experienced impeachment before, so they know what it means. I felt they should have done something, handled something differently. God bless you. Let's not be on this country.
Amen. Thank you very much, Radio Mama. She gave me quite a perspective there, saying an hungry man has no respect for the law.
Exactly.
Okay, and there is hunger in the land.
There is.
So let's look for a way to to actually put an end to the hunger in the land.
Yeah.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Samuel calling from Mango.
Okay, Samuel, go ahead.
You see, the scenario that occurred or took place last week is appalling.
Okay.
It makes mockery of our democracy.
Okay.
And it also picked hold in the whole governmental apparatus.
Okay.
The number one citizen of this state made us to understand that he had no hand in it. But who ordered the security details to that House of Assembly? On whose order were the security there?
Okay.
On whose order were the commissioner of police found in that House of Assembly?
Okay.
So, we should say no to the illegality that took place in that House of Assembly, because as far as I know, it's an act of illegality.
Okay.
It is as when the House rule as had been enumerated by your bill.
Okay.
So, democracy is allowed to thrive. We are not in military era, and if we are not in military era, whatever that is today should be avoided.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Samuel. Saying we are in a democratic era and not in the military era. We also have a call. When you call us, please tell us your name and where you are calling from. Hello. Good morning. Okay, I think we lost that. Please, when you call us, tell us your name, where you're calling from, and please go straight to the point. Let's be solution driven. We're where we are now. Let's see what we can do to go forward. To progress, in issues or on issues of governance here on the plateau. And that will be the next line of discussion with Barrister Sam here in the studio. Callers have actually talked about the illegality of what has taken place. So, before we progress, I think we have a caller. Let's actually add this. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Can you turn down the volume of your radio set, please? Hello. Okay, please, when you call us, ensure that you turn down the volume of your radio sets. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Then please go straight to the point. Let's be solution driven. Let's not be flippant. Okay, we'll be driving the conversation further. Let's talk about the solution to the issues on ground as it is now. What are the proposed solutions to the current legislative stalemate in Plateau State?
Okay, I think I would look at it from 2 points of view.
Okay.
First of all, the speaker purportedly impeached can institute an action in court to set aside the illegal impeachment.
Okay.
Even though we must not run away from the fact that sometimes court procedure or proceedings can be slow, and which would be in the advantage of the people who forcefully found their way to, as who found his way as the speaker.
All right, please hold your thoughts. Let's quickly have this call. Hello, good morning. I think we lost that. You're on a very beautiful line of thought earlier.
Yes. So that could take some time, because even under our new rules, Plateau State High Court Civil Procedure Rules, upon filing of or institution of an action, you have to.
Okay, right. Let's have this call. Hello, good morning.
Morning, how are you?
Oh, fine, thank you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I am Paul Danladi, calling from Locust.
All right, Paul, we're glad you called. Please go ahead.
I have to comment about the issue of impeachment of the speaker.
Okay.
The truth is just clear, but it's just people don't want to say it out.
Okay.
If you can look at this matter, members of Assembly, they know their rule. They cannot come at this hour to impeach their leader, to impeach their leader, their speaker, while they are not reached the number that they're supposed to impeach the speaker. So this issue goes some way, because there is interest in this issue. So the fact here is that the executive should come and arrange what is supposed to be good for Plateau people. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We have Paul there, actually, incidentally calling for the intervention of the executive, but these are two independent arms of government.
Yes.
Hello, good morning. Hello?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, good morning. We can hear you. What's your name?
Yeah,
and where are you
morning.
calling from?
Yeah, this is Pam Tabari from Rim, local government.
All right, we're glad you called. Please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, what is happening in the House of Assembly is very embarrassing, and we are not happy with it at all. If the newly that was elected, so to say, if that was right, the sitting supposed to be 9 o'clock. Why then did they started to fight around that 6 to 7 a.m.? It shows that they are not clear in what really they did. And I've been hearing them, I've been hearing most of them, they say that 16 people signed. And at least those 16 people, they're supposed to make known of those people who did all those things.
Okay.
In street, we are trying to see that peace return to this state so that we will enjoy our businesses. But if you see now, we are in disarray now in this state. So what I'm trying to say, all of them in the house, they know what to do. The job that they don't want to do, they are confusing us with the mass. They are just confusing us.
Okay.
Let them do the needful so that we will have peace in this House Assembly. We cannot progress without peace.
Okay.
So we are just pleading to them. Let them sort out this issue and let us rest in this state so that we will have meaningful development in this state.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're glad you called. All right, that's another beautiful line of thought saying, the honorable members actually are aware of their house rules, but, compliance is the problem here. Yeah. Before we go forward, let's add this call to what we have on ground. Hello, good morning. Okay, please, when you call, turn down the volume of your radio set. That's the rule here, and please we'll abide by that on this program. Okay. Hello, good morning. Okay, that's the rule again. Please, when you call, ensure you turn down the volume of your radio. We'll comply by that on this program. Let's go forward, Barrister Sam. You are on a beautiful line of thought earlier on saying the problem here is time, judicial time.
Exactly. I was trying to say that upon filing of your processes in court, the other party needs to respond. And when issues have been joined, you need to do under our new rules now what is called case management conference. That's where you sort out all preliminary issues and see if there is possibility of settling the matter without litigation.
But why sorting out the preliminary issues?
Exactly.
Does sitting continues, and who heads the sitting, or who leads the sitting?
The judge. He heads it.
That's for the legislature.
No. I mean this for the court.
Okay.
Yes, because you asked about what remedies are available.
Yes.
So I'm saying one of the remedies is going to court.
So while going to court,
I'm
you talked
saying
about
that
judicial time.
Exactly.
So while on that, the case you mentioned, the case
case management conference.
Case management conference.
It's part of the procedure of the court.
Yes.
Now, when issues have been joined, you do case management. What I'm saying is, it's not supposed to take time, but sometimes it takes time. And of course, I'm saying generally that judicial process in Nigeria takes time, and it will be to the advantage of the illegality.
Okay. Well, that's interesting, But
then, another option could be dialogue.
Okay.
Members can agree.
Okay.
And then, swallow their pride and see to it that Plateau State is the number one focal point for them, so that they can now sit down and discuss, okay, this person, you are not there legally, then why don't we do this thing as honorable members? And that's why sometimes you question why they are called honorable.
Interesting, honorable members.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've aggregated views and opinions from listener out there, and most of people that called, are not happy about the happening in the house. This shows that there seems to be a gap between the honorable members and their constituents. So what is the problem in that?
You see, when members who were elected by the electorates are actually their employers.
Interesting.
Now, when they go there and become greedy and they would want to fall in favor with the executive, then the interest of the people becomes second place. And that's exactly what is happening now. Because the interest of the people is not, if you sample the opinions of majority of Plateau citizens, you discover that they are against the purported impeachment. So who are they representing? So the citizens have a right, even though that one too can be a lengthy or a prolonged this thing. They can actually commence the process of recalling their members if they are not satisfied with their representation.
Interesting. I wanted to ask, what kind of constituents do you just mentioned recalling? But aside recalling, what other options are there? Issues of dialogue and the rest.
Yes, I was talking about dialogue. The members can dialogue to sort out this thing. Of course, if you are not a speaker, it doesn't stop you from being a member of the house. So we are saying that we should not allow illegality to continue. Even if it's going to be long for a court proceeding, I think it is the best option, so that we should begin to get to a point where there is punitive measures against people like this who would illegally do things and go on and walk away with. So I think there is need for the law to punish members like that.
Interesting. Let's go back to our phone lines. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, listen, I'm Finidi.
Finidi.
Yes, I want to listen. I like the programs. I'm seriously, I'm very interested in the programs.
We're glad you called. You're calling from where? Sorry, you're calling from where?
I'm calling from Jos Makama.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yes, I want to contribute on this. Concerning the incident that is going on in Plateau with legislators.
Okay.
Fight again. Fight between the executive and the speakers.
Okay.
Like, what I'm trying to say is, let the speakers and the executive sit down together and look at the big issues that is ahead of us. Most especially the hunger that is everywhere. Not Plateau only, but Nigeria entirely. They should focus and look at the way, find a way to sort that thing out, and let them forget about their selfish interests. Because all these things they are doing it for their own selfish interests. That's the best. That's the main. The truth of it,
right.
Truth of the matters.
All right.
So this beef that they are having is in between. They are fighting for their own selfish. They are not, as far as I'm concerned, they are not representing the interests of the masses.
Okay. All right. Thank you for calling. And to set the record straight, the problem is between the honorable members. If you have any facts between the executive and the legislature, you could, table it. We could actually address that. If you have facts to that. But the problem here is between the honorable members. Saying two members, we have this leader, we have that leader. Let's see what we have on the phone lines. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. We can hear you. We're glad you called. What's your name?
Okay, this is Tony calling from Jos.
Okay, please go ahead.
This that is getting to another level that these people are just after their own selfish interest, and we must begin to do away with that. I just passed the House of Assembly, and the security personnel are so there. They were like, I was like, is this the level that we've reached as a state, that security personnel will be out there like we are living in a state of emergency? So we as citizens of Plateau State, we must begin to do away with injustice. And those people who call themselves honorable member, right from time I don't even call them honorable member. What I usually call them is dishonorable member. So what they are doing there, they are doing it for themselves. I think that will help us.
Amen. Thank you very much. We're glad you called. Okay, let's quickly go to our social media page. On our Facebook page, we have Chester Philip commenting. He said, "Good morning to the presenter and the guest in the house. The reason why they want to impeach Abok is because he stood by the people of Plateau State. Abok must succeed." Okay, let's have this final call as we progress. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, my name is Abirina Abinkan and I'm calling from Call.
All right, we're glad you called, Brabe.
Yes, I just want to ask the barrister there. That's what that was.
Please go ahead.
Oh, credit. Okay. So
we can hear you.
The governor said that given the legislative arm autonomy, they have their leadership and every member is representing his own constituency. But I wonder why this thing that is happening, they're blaming the executive. Is there any synergy between the House and the executive arm of government?
All right.
That people are saying that maybe the governor is aware of all what is happening.
All right.
They need to know their rights, and they are there because of the masses.
Okay.
Even if the governor incite them or tell them to do something, they should know that they are there to do their things the way the government or the law has asked them to do.
Okay.
That's what I'm asking, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. We're glad you called. Let's quickly go back to Barrister Sam. Can you please react to these opinions we have and the questions by Bro Abiri?
Well, I think it is only someone who does not understand the trajectory of Nigerian politics that would think that the executive has granted autonomy to the legislature. Yeah, let's not be living in denial of this fact. In one breath, the executive is saying he does not have anything to do with it. In another breath, he is agreeing and working with the new person purportedly installed as a new speaker. So you see, you cannot fool people. Yes, you cannot fool people. So I think it is only someone who is new to or who chose to just not waive what's happening. But if you are used to the trajectory of Nigerian politics, you will know that this is intended and calculated.
The House of Assembly is usually regarded as the people's house.
Yes.
You know, when we have the presence of security, the security personnel there, you know, how constitutional is that?
It is very, very appalling, to say the least, that we have. Yesterday I followed that place and I saw the number of cars of security men armed to the teeth in the in front of the House of Assembly. And I was wondering, with the insecurity in Plateau State, do we need them there or in the villages where insecurity is thriving? It is very unfortunate that in this day and time we are having this kind of thing happening, and then you are armed in front of the house to deny people access to the house, even members legitimately elected by their constituents. You are denying them access to the house. So how democracy is being murdered?
Interesting. Democracy is being murdered. We'll leave it there for now, Barrister Sam Dido. We're glad you could make it to the program.
Thank you so much.
Before we quickly go, we call on the interested parties as well as the stakeholders in the Plateau State House of Assembly to ensure that the rule of law is respected, and also to the security personnel, ensure that the rule of law is respected and professional conduct is ensured in your operations while there it's the people's house. Also, that the sanctity of the legislature is respected as independent, and also that separation of power and democratic norms are upheld. I mean, we're a democratic nation, we're a democratic state, so let's ensure that. And also, let's also ensure that whether you are on the A side or B side, let's ensure that the interest of Plateau remains supreme. Listener, that's the size of our package for today on this edition of Building Bridges, a program brought to you by Take and Peace Desk with support from Bread for the World. Let's do this again next week, God willing. My name is Joseph